Okay, good morning everyone. So last time I teach you guys about how to make these kind of abstract composition geometries through using contours, sweep tool, and also some rendering setting. You can get the results just like this. But this time I'm going to teach you using Rhino Grasshopper to generate random bubble so that you can use in that one to create something more abundant and more beautiful geometry shape. Let's take a look. So first things, I'd like to give you some general understanding about Rhino Grasshopper. Let's open up a new file and basically we can choose with no template. And when you turn on a new file, very important thing is that you need to set up the units. Inside Rhinosys, we have a very precise and accurate units. So you need to go to Options, Units, and usually I will using centimeter. For centimeter, it's better to using this kind of unit for architectures and also interior design. And if you want to make some product, it's better for you to use millimeters. And only for urban planning or maybe even larger scale, we will use in meters. So let's click centimeter first. And for the absolute tolerance, basically this part is about the precision of your model. And I think 0.0001 would be better. So let's type in 0.0001. Once you finish, select OK, and you will be done. So now, when you join a curve or a line inside Rhinosys, 1 unit, basically it means 1 centimeter. Okay. So now let's take a look of Rhino Grasshopper. Let's go to perspective view. Inside Rhinosys, when we are working on our model, basically everything was composed by multiple commands. For example, if you remember, when we are working on sweep 1, let's do the sweep 1 in a very quick way. Select this one, select all the curve, and just draw a linear line and using sweep 1 or sweep 2. Both of them will be fine. So I have two railway, I have two rail curves, one cross sections. That's using sweep 1, choosing the first one, choosing the rail, and choosing the cross sections. Once you finish, press enter and you will be done. For now it looks super weird because when we are working on a selection, probably there's something wrong. Let's do that again. Let's go to curve, surface, sweep 2. Choose the rail, choose the second rail, and choose the cross section. Press enter. Okay, now it's finished. So basically, in these operations, it composed by first thing we have to give these operations two rail lines, and finally we have to give this one cross sections. So basically, inside this command, it requires three input parameters: two rails and then one cross sections. And inside Rhinosys, actually we can combine all these operations into a graphic node editing tools. Basically, the meaning of the graphic editing tools or node editing tools, which means that we can use in we can write in a script through a graphicing way. Let's take a look. Let's turn on Rhino Grasshopper. You can just click this button or type Rhino Grasshopper in the command bar. Both of them are okay. And as far as you can see, Rhino Grasshopper has a totally different user interface unlike Rhinosys. Here is some sections. Basically, each section has its own component. Let's try to drag some component to the empty operating area. Hold on your left mouse button and drag to the empty area. Hold on your left mouse button and drag to the empty area. Okay, so now you can see this, I will call this one as a component, and some people will call this one battery. And we can connect, hold on your left mouse button, you can connect the line to another component. So for example, you can connect this one, connect this one. Basically, this operation means that you are going to input a number into a new component. So that's the meaning of these operations. So just like when we are working on some kind of writing some script or using a command, you can using component. Basically, it means one parameter or one operations. You can input the component and connect the component to the next one and using this way to do the operation. And it's just like a scripting. Using this way, you can change the parameter. For example, you want to change the parameter right here or change the parameter in the very beginning, and everything will be connected. Once you change this one will follow the change as well. So it will be a graphic scripting tool. And for now, there are many software using this way for scripting and coding, because not every designer know how to coding, but basically all designers know how to using graphic. So not only for Rhino Grasshopper, probably Rhino Grasshopper is one of the earliest software started using this way to help a designer and engineer for coding. Now, also for probably like Autodesk Maya and Blender and Unity and Unreal, they using this way to do coding. So for designer, you don't have to do typing the word, typing the script by yourself. You can just use this way to do your graphic coding. Of course, there's still some limitations, but basically we can almost do everything through this way. Alright, so let's take a look about how to operate this one. First thing, all this section, it was related to Rhinosys. For example, for a parameter like point, curve, surface, all these things, basically you can see the same things inside Rhinosys. And also for sure there is some number slider, there's something you cannot see in Rhinosys, but you can type in. And math is more about calculations, so you can do something like no matter it's about sigma, log, or even something advanced mathematical calculation, you can do that kind of thing here. For the set, it's more about the data trees, how you organize your data, how you select the first one or the second one data from a bunch of data trees. That's the things about how we can organize the parameter and data. Vector, that's a vector, because actually inside Rhinosys, we will use in vector very often. We will use in vector to point out the direction. If you remember, for example, when we are working on contours, if I want to contour this one, let's type in contour. You have to choose in a base plane and to the end plane. Basically, this kind of operation, it has a direction. So it means we have to give this command one vector. Okay? Just like this. So vector, we use that very often inside Rhino Grasshopper, and actually we also use them inside Rhinosys, but it's more manually, not unlike a Rhino Grasshopper, we just type in a number or just use a component to control. Inside Rhinosys, we give the direction in a manually way. Curve, for sure, just like the curve here. Surface, just like the surface right here. And for mesh, just like the mesh right here, or you can go to another zone. I think it's not surface tool, mesh tools right here. So basically, all this section was related to Rhinosys. They have the same function, but in Rhino Grasshopper, you can use graphic tool to do that, and you can make a coding by yourself. You don't have to type. You don't have to write the code. Just using graphic nodes and connect them together, and you can get the result you want. Alright, so for sure there are some more advanced. For Kangaroo, it's more for physical analysis. You can use this one to analyze the engineer structures or civil engineer stuff. And there are a lot of powerful plugins inside Rhino Grasshopper. So basically, Rhino Grasshopper is more for engineer. It's not for graphic designer or It's not specific for the media artist, but it can also do that. And in the end of this semester, I hope you guys can try to use this one to make your own media artwork. Okay, so let's go back and I will delete everything right here. Go to parameter. So for now, I'm going to teach you the most basic one about how to use in Rhino Grasshopper. So first things, for sure, about how we can import the data from the Rhino to Rhino Grasshopper, and also how we can create scenes just inside Rhinosys. So first thing, for example, for now I want to create something like a lot of bubble. How we can do that? First things, there are multiple. First way is that we can create a multiple points inside Rhinosys. Let's go to here, the points. Hold on your left mouse button to select this one, and choose multiple points. And you can create a lot of points right here. And for sure, because for now they are flattened, you can rotate. Hold on your auto key to rotate them. Make them become a three-dimensional points cloud. Now you get the points cloud, and we have to import all these points into Rhino Grasshopper. So first thing, we have to create a container. Basically, you can see all the things here. They are a container. For example, if you wanna import the point into Rhino Grasshopper, you have to create a points container right here. So let's select this one, and for now it's orange color, which means there's no data inside. So right click on this component and choose set multiple points. Drag to select. And for now, I'd like to remind you, for some of you probably already forget. Of course, you can hold on your shift key and use click to select multiple points. Also, you can try to use drag to select multiple points, like this way. But in this one, if you drag from the left side to the right side, you only select the things inside the rectangle. And if you hold on your shift key, and if you drag your mouse from the right side to the left side, basically it will select everything you touch. Okay, so once you finish your selection, press enter. As far as I can see, now your container become a gray color. So which means for now there is multiple data inside this container, and the data is here, right here. And if you put your right mouse button, put your mouse icon close to the container, you will see he tell you there is 155 locally defined values and its reference point. Basically, it means we have referred these points into these containers. And when you move this one, they will record. Okay? The next part, I want to make multiple bubbles inside Rhinosys. How can we do that? Very, very simple. If you remember, when we are working on sphere, right here, if I want to create a sphere, first thing is you need to give the sphere the center point. And second, you have to define the radius. So basically means once you want to finish this command operation, you need to give the Rhinosys 2 parameters. Let's do this. First things, now we have the center point. Basically, that's the things we just create. And then let's go to surface. And let's go to primitives. Choosing sphere. The sphere component, basically, it contains two parameters. The first one, the centimeter, the center. The center one, the radius. So first things, we need to connect the points to the center part. For now, it doesn't have any difference because the sphere is too small. The default setting of the radius, you can click right here, is 1 point. It's just 1 centimeter. So we can give this one a number. If you take a look, you can see actually there is a sphere, but it's too small. It's really hard to see. So we have to enlarge this one, and there are multiple ways to give this one a number. Let's take a look. First thing, let's go to parameters. We can use this one, panel. We will use this one quite often. Double click and you can type in the number you want. For example, I prefer everyone will be 10. Just type in, click, and connect this one here. As far as you can see, now it becomes 10, a bubble with 10 centimeters in radius. But if you want to do that, if you want to change the number, you have to do that again. You have to type in 2, and it will be smaller response to you. But probably it's time consuming. So usually, in this part, I prefer to using something more simple way. Using the number slider, it's more intuitive and it has GUI interface. Let's click this one. For the number slider, you can using your mouse icon to drag the number right here. So you can change the numbers through this way. Just drag and then you can change. However, for now, this number is too small. The maxima is only 1, the minima is only 0. So probably it's too small. We have to change the maxima and the minimum. So right click on this component. Basically, using your right mouse button to click this one, you will see the inner property of this component. So for now, we are going to change the inner property of this one. Right mouse button, select, and choosing values, change max. And this time, I think the maxima it could be 100. And for the minima, because it is impossible to be negative, so I think we don't have to change that. Once you finish, choose commit change. Another thing is that for now, they are floating numbers. They have this kind of little floating number behind. So I don't like that. I prefer integers. So right click again, go to slider typer and choosing integers. Now connect to the radius, and it will automatically replace this original one. And you can slide and to change. Unfortunately, because inside Rhinos everything is nerves, and for nerves for nerves modeling, it takes more resource for your laptop to computing. So it's not that fast at all, especially when you are working on this kind of 3D things. But that's the way we can use in Rhinos and Grasshopper to help us to generate this random sphere. Okay. Okay, so for now we have created a very little script for inside Rhinoceros. So if you think, okay, I don't like these kind of points, you can do another one. So for sure, for example, I draw another point cloud right here. You can select all of them, right click on the component, set multiple point, and move this script right here. So you don't have to redo everything every time. You can just save this script and using this script in the other files, in other operations. So it's a very powerful tool. But for now, we're still using reference way to reference points into our script. So if you delete the points, you will see it become orange color. It means it's missing something right here. So if you delete everything, basically there's empty. You can see all the reference points become none. Basically it means you have missing the reference data file. So actually we can create everything just inside Rhinosys. So let's delete all these reference points. Let's go to Vector and choosing Populate 3D. And now, for the inside this component, we can generate multiple points, random points. So let's click this one, hold on your left mouse key, connect this one to the sphere. And now we can start to change the parameter right here. We can Control C, Control V to copy this slider, and for the other as well. So first thing is about the region. You can change the regions. For now, the shape of the region is a box, but I think it's okay. So I will keep this one like this. And the second one is the number of the points you want to add. For now, it generated 100 points. If you just don't want that much, so many points inside your file, you can just change the parameter. For example, I think 30 will be quite enough. So I will change my slider to 30 and connect to this one. So for now, there's only 30 points. And for the seed, basically it's about the randomness. So if you increase more, it will be way more random. So let's choose this one, and maybe let's choose into 7 or 5. Okay. And finally, points in the list. Actually, for now, we don't need to use in that one. So through this way, we can create multiple points without randomness, just using random grasshopper. But for now, all the points was so dense. All the points was located in the center part, so it become too messy. We cannot see the size and the locations of the point and sphere. So I want to enlarge the area, the region. How can we do that? So for now, as far as you can see in the region, it has a default cube. If we deselect this one, if you want to deconnect this one, you can right click here and choosing disconnect and choosing this one. So as far as you can see, here is the default cube. Basically, it's about the regions of the random points. If I want to enlarge this one, how can we do that? First thing is we can just create a center box inside surface center box right here. And we can drag this one, connect this one here. But it becomes even more smaller. It's right here, super small. So we have to enlarge this one. As far as you can see, there is a X, Y, Z directions. So we can enlarge this one. So let's copy the number slider again. Connect this one to X, Y, Z points. So we input, so it becomes 7 times bigger. And you can enlarge more. And now, as far as you can see, the area becomes super large. And you can increase the content. So for example, I want more, you can change this way. Okay, maybe 60. And randomness, it could be around 15. And now let's connect this one. So now we have random points and it was inside this box. But I don't want to see this box. How can we hide this one? Inside Rhino Grasshopper, all the things you have seen in the screen, they are preview. You cannot select them. If you want to select them, we have to make them become real model, but not for now. So how can I hide this one if I cannot select the box? You can click this one and right click and choosing turn off the preview. So you can turn off this one. And for now, you can see inside this component, it becomes a deep gray color, which means now you turn off the preview. Let's move this one, select all of them, and move this one here. So that's your first little script inside Rhino Grasshopper. The logic is, first thing is we're using the popular 3D to generate random points. And then we have to create a region. Basically, it will be a box. We create a box as a region, so that import the box, import the region to this popular 3D. And popular 3D will help us to generate multiple points inside this box. And finally, once you generate multiple points inside here, we can use these points to generate the sphere. So that's the idea about how we can do for this little script. In the next part, I think we can try to play around with the parameter right here. Because for now, everything was similar. They have the same size, but actually I don't want that. I hope this one could be a random as well. So how can we do that? Actually, we can use another component to do that. Let's take a look. Let's call out random. You can just double click on the empty area and type the name you want. For example, you want a random, just type in random. So now we have called out a random component. It will generate a series of random number right here. And still there is a range, number, and seed. Okay? So if you just connect this one to here, basically it doesn't work because actually it works, but it's too small. You cannot see that. So we have to change the parameter right here. First things, for the range, 0 to 1 is too small. We have to change the regions. But unlike this one, the region here is a space. Here is just about numbers. So in order to do that, we have to go to math, and we have to create a domain. If you know what is the meaning of the domain in mathematics, I hope you can understand, you will know what I'm going to do. We have to construct a new domain. Basically, it will contain A and B. For the A, it will be the first number, and for the B, it will be the second number. And it will construct the maxima and the minima inside this region. So let's copy and paste, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, copy the number slider again. We can smaller the size here, compare this one. So the first number is 0. And Ctrl C, Ctrl V again. Connect this one to the B, and you can enlarge the maximum number. And then let's put this one into regions. So for now, you can see the randomness becomes super large, but probably it's too large. I don't need that one. I don't need that much. And everyone has if everyone supposed to has a difference for now. But for now, because the randomness, we can change the randomness so that it increase the randomness of the sphere. So let's increase this one. For now, it's 2, and maybe we can give this one 20. It becomes even more smaller. Let's change it a little bit. Okay, so now you can see the difference. The final thing is that the number, let's change the number and see what will happen. Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Connect this one. Okay, so for now, basically it means every time the different state, when you add on a random number, and for now the number is 8, so every time it will has change on at least 8, and you can change maybe into 12, okay, or maybe even more. Maybe how about 15? Okay, so now you can see the randomness. First thing, you see to control the size, the randomized size. Second thing, sorry for that, I think we have to type more. Okay, second thing, you can change the number. Basically, it means the state of the number of every number. And first thing, the most important thing, you have to construct a domain for the randomness. So now we have finished these parameters. We have finished these parametric tools. We have finished this little grasshopper script using the node inside Rhinosis. But for now, just like what we mentioned before, for this one, it's not a real geometry. How can we make this one become real geometry? For now, the things we want to explore is the geometry sphere. So we have to select this one and right-click, choosing back, and choosing yes. As far as I can see, for now, it becomes real geometry. Okay, and also, if you want to save this file, you have to save a Rhino file and also a Rhino grasshopper file. So right here, you can choose Save As, and this time I will call this one Bubble. And for this one, I will call this one File, Save, again Bubble. I will replace this one. Okay, so now we have finished. Let's go back to my rendering. Open, and abstract compositions, or probably not this one, I guess. Right here. Alright, so for now, if I want to create a multiple points, how can we do that? Actually, it already did, because this is a randomized sphere. So I just created a sphere right here. And you can enlarge the box area. Sorry for that, we have to change the maxima. So maybe change the maxima to 1000. Commit change. And you can have more bubble right here. So now you don't have to do that in a manual way. You can just using your bubble scripting to do this one. And once you think, okay, this one looks good, you can just back them and make them become real geometries. And again, do the render just like what we did before. Okay, so that's the tutorial, the most basic tutorial about Rhino Grasshopper. And in the following class, we will using these tools very often, probably also using this one to do some media artwork, like using Firefly or Kinect to do some interactive media artwork. Okay, so that's all for today. See you next time.